So quadratics is basically anything with a power of 2, so squared. In standard form, you're going to see some number, okay, then x squared, then another number, then x, and then another number. So some number x squared, another number x, then some other number by itself. When you graph this, it's going to create a U or an N-shaped curve, and that's called a parabola. Okay.
This is a listening check. Underline the word parabola.
A couple of key features that you need to know. Number one is this A right here. If it is positive, okay, if A is positive, then I want you to think of a happy face, because positive people are happy. And what kind of a shape is that smile? The shape is a U. And what that's going to give me is a minimum.
This is a listening check. Underline the title standard form.
The parabola opens up. Okay, that's how we're going to look at it. All right. If it's a negative, negative people are generally unhappy people. And what kind of shape is that going to give me? An N. This opens down. Basically, where the U happens right here, that's going to be a maximum. So if A is positive, it's a minimum, opens up, looks like this. If it is negative, it is a maximum and it opens down. If you look at this, whatever the number is by itself, that is your y-intercept. Okay, the number by itself is your
Let's
y-intercept.
begin by first labeling our ABC. So whatever is with x squared is A, whatever is with x is B, and whatever is by itself is C. Once you have it labeled, you can see if A is positive or if A is negative. If A is positive, which is invisible 1, it's happy, so it's going up, all right, which means it's a minimum. The y-intercept is C, which is in our case negative 5. To find the vertex, we're going to plug it into minus B, so minus B is 2, then 2 times A, which is 1. That's going to simplify to negative 2 over 2, which simplifies to negative 1. So what's negative 1? X is negative 1. Plug that in to the equation. So we're going to write the equation, and instead of x, we'll write in parentheses everywhere see x. Now just plug in negative 1. So everywhere I see a space, I'm plugging negative 1. Negative 1 squared is 1. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Minus 5 is negative 6. So what's the vertex? X and then y. Negative 1, negative 6. Once you have the vertex, it's x equals the x value to find the axis of symmetry. All right, so now we're going to plot everything. So the vertex is at negative 1, negative 6. The y-intercept is at negative 5. And there's an axis of symmetry at negative 1. What does that axis of symmetry mean? That whatever is happening on the right is happening on the left. So I know it's going up. So if it looks like that on the right, it also looks like that on the left.
All right, so we're going to go to desmos.com/practice. You're going to click graphing calculator, choose assessment, whatever state you're in, start practice. Do that every time because sometimes this calculator has more things than it should be in there. All right, so I'm going to type y equals, you shift 6 for power. So I'm going to type y equals, and then you can use shift 6 for power, or you can use these right here. But we're going to plug in this equation. So I see a 4, then an x, and you can either do shift 6. So if I did shift 6, it would go up there automatically, or I can use this, which will put a squared on there, or I could do that. Hold on. I could do that and it will still put it up there and I put the squared. All right, now look, if I type in something there, it's going to be on the top, right? So I don't want it to be on the top. I'm going to right arrow out or click out, whatever you want to do. Plus 8x, so plus 8x minus 1. All right, so type in y equals, use shift for the power, use parentheses if you have any fractions. So if I was putting in minus 1/4, for example, I just want to make sure I put that in parentheses is what that will say. Okay, use the settings key to, then you can hit table. You can make this a table, but so we can plot some points because, you know, to transfer this, actually we do have enough points to transfer here, but we can find it more specifically. So here it looks like we only have 2 good points, but because this is now not a sketch, it's an exact thing, we do need to hit settings. So hit settings, then hit this, right? Create table. All right, now it'll give you a table. Type in any value in the X column and it'll give you the corresponding Y value. All right, so when X is -2, so now we're going to go and plot it. And this needs to be exact because this is not a sketch. We're using a calculator, so please make sure you copy this down correctly. -2, -1 is a point right here. Then we have -1, -5, -1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is a point right there. 0, -1, 0, -1 is a point right there. 1, 11, which I think goes off the graph. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, so around here. And I'm also going to do negative, let's do -1, 2, 3, -3. So I'm going to change the 0 and type in -3, and it's also going to give me 11. And how did I know to do that? Because remember, quadratics are symmetric, meaning my axis of symmetry cuts it in half. So I know if there's a point here, there'll be a point there. If there's a point here, there will be a point there. All right, so go ahead and connect those points as best as you can. Okay, so this is a more exact depiction. Again, we can fill out all of this without the graph, but I do. So as always, to find out everything I can for standard form, the first thing we need to do is go ahead and label A, B, and C. And don't forget the symbols, A, B, and C. All right, is it up or down? You're looking at A. Is that positive or negative? It's positive. Positive people are happy, so it is up. Okay, because it's up, I know that it has a bottom, not a maximum, so it's a minimum. All right, what is the y-intercept? Y-intercept is just the C by itself, so this is -1. All right, and again, you're double checking. So you see it's up, it has a y-intercept of -1, it has a minimum right there. All right, let's plug in for my vertex. So my vertex is minus whatever B is 8, over 2 times whatever A is, and A is 4. So that's going to be -8 over 8, which simplifies to -1. So that's my X value is -1. Plug it into the equation to find Y. So you're rewriting this equation. In place of X, you're going to put a space or parentheses squared. Plus, I have an 8. I have another X, so parentheses, -1. And all you're doing is plugging in the X value you found of -1. All right, go ahead and put all that in the calculator. It's going to be -1 squared is 1 times 4 is 4. 4 minus 8 is -4 minus 1 is -5. Okay, so my vertex, remember your vertex must be X and then Y. So my vertex, my X value is -1, my Y value is -5. Let's check it. -1, -5, yes, that's my vertex. What's my axis of symmetry? Remember, you just go boom, X equals, must be X equals because it's a line, the X value of the vertex. So does it happen? Is there a line at -1? Yes, there is. Okay, so again, the calculator will give you exact, but you don't have to have a calculator in order to find this. One last thing that we need to talk about that's really important is A also decides how thin your parabola or how wide your parabola is. So your biggest A value, the absolute value of it, so only taking just positives, the bigger your A value, the thinner it is. So let's put examples 1 from narrowest to widest. So let's go ahead first and write down what they were. So example 1, example 2, example 3. All right, we're just going to look at what were their A values. So the value for example 1, the A value was +1. So we're going to write that as +1. All right, for example 2, the Y value was -1. The A value, I'm sorry, was -1. So it's going to be -1. And for example 3, the A value is +4. All right, when you take the absolute value of something, it just means only positive. So if it's negative, make it positive. It's already positive, it stays positive. That's 1, this is 1, and this is 4. All right, so again, remember, the bigger the number, the bigger the absolute value, the thinner it is. So because this is saying put it in narrow to widest, so the narrowest is going to be the biggest number, which is example 3. Then there's a tie for these two, so this is example 1 and example 2 are tied. All right, so very, very important. Your biggest A value is your thinnest one, and remember, only take the positive numbers off it. So if it's negative, take it positive. Okay, so go ahead and complete example 5 and correct the plug-in equation to what I have written there. Let's practice.